The hegemony vessels regroup rapidly, their formation tightening into a defensive posture. Admiral Chen watches through the command center's holographic display as Earth's hidden defenses continue their calculated strikes. Years of secret military spending, disguised as private space ventures and asteroid mining operations, had finally paid off. "They're broadcasting again, Admiral," Lieutenant Rivera says, her fingers dancing across the communication panel. The alien message fills the room, Supreme Overlord Zextari's translator rendering his clicks and whistles into stilted English. This aggression is unexpected. Perhaps a cultural misunderstanding has occurred. We offered protection, not subjugation. Chen exchanges knowing glances with General Santos, her longtime friend and the architect of Earth's defense grid. They had studied the intercepted hegemony communications for months. Protection was their standard euphemism for complete planetary control. "Put me through," Chen orders, straightening her uniform. The view screen shifts to transmit mode. "Supreme Overlord Zextari, there is no misunderstanding. Your species destroyed our lunar outpost without provocation. Where we come from, negotiations don't begin with demonstrations of force." Behind her, the planetary defense room buzzes with controlled urgency. Technicians monitor incoming data as military commanders from every Earth nation coordinate their responses through a unified command protocol established years earlier, when the first hegemony scout ships were detected near Jupiter. "Our sensors indicate you're deploying additional vessels from behind your gas giant," Chen continues. "Consider carefully before you commit them. The lunar base was a civilian research station. 17 families lost loved ones in your demonstration. We're prepared to discuss peaceful relations, but not while under threat." The alien leader's compound eyes narrow on the screen. Intelligence reports suggested the hegemony had conquered 32 worlds in the last century alone, all without significant resistance. "Your defiance is illogical. Our scans indicate your technology is centuries behind ours." "That's the thing about humans," Chen replies, nodding to her weapons officer, who silently confirms that targeting solutions are locked on all 7 hegemony command ships. "We're remarkably good at hiding our capabilities until they're needed." As if on cue, the proximity alarms blare. The hegemony reinforcement fleet emerges from faster-than-light travel. 43 warships arranged in attack formation. "They're targeting major population centers," Rivera reports, her voice steady despite the implications. Chen opens a secure channel to Earth's Unified Defense Council. "Activate Protocol Thunderbolt. Across the solar system, hundreds of asteroids, previously fitted with stealth propulsion systems, suddenly alter course, their trajectories precisely calculated years earlier by Earth's best mathematicians. The hegemony sensors detect the incoming threats too late. Massive space rocks slam into alien vessels at relativistic speeds, turning advanced warships into expanding clouds of superheated plasma. On screens worldwide, citizens watch as distant flashes mark humanity's first interstellar victory. In Beijing, London, Nairobi, and Sao Paulo, people stand silent in disbelief, then erupt in cheers as understanding dawns. Humanity is fighting back. In the command center, Chen opens a channel to all Earth forces. "This is just the beginning," she says, her voice carried to military bases across the planet. "They came expecting an easy conquest. Let's make sure the galaxy remembers what happens when you threaten Earth." General Santos steps forward, his weathered face solemn. "Admiral, their remaining ships are retreating to regroup." Chen nods. "Good. We've bought time. Now we show them what humanity does best: adapt and overcome." Colonel Jackson Ryan navigates through the wreckage of hegemony vessels, his ship's enhanced sensors picking through the debris field for salvageable technology. The Persistence, originally designed as an orbital construction platform, now bristles with hastily mounted weapons, systems, and improvised armor plating. "Status report on Echo Squadron," Ryan demands, his eyes never leaving the tactical display. Commander Ishida responds from her station. 6 of 8 vessels reporting successful ambush deployment near Europa. The hegemony cruisers took the bait. Completely. Ryan allows himself a brief smile. Echo Squadron consisted entirely of automated mining barges reprogrammed to emit false weapon signatures. While the alien fleet focused on these decoys, the real attack came from the opposite direction. Converted civilian shuttles carrying electromagnetic pulse weapons that Earth scientists had reverse-engineered from the first downed alien scout ship. Their battle doctrine is too rigid, Ryan observes, watching the tactical display as another alien formation breaks apart under human assault. They fight like they've never had to improvise. The ship's communication officer interrupts. "Colonel, we're receiving transmissions from the captured hegemony vessel. Dr. Patel has accessed their database." The main screen switches to show Dr. Sanjay Patel surrounded by alien control interfaces, covered in symbols no human had seen 3 months earlier. Behind him, engineering teams disassemble alien technology with methodical precision. "Colonel, you need to see this," Patel says, excitement evident despite his exhaustion. Their tactical computers are programmed with only 14 basic formation responses. They haven't updated their combat algorithms in over 300 years. Ryan leans forward. "Explain." "They haven't needed to," Patel continues, scrolling through translated alien text. "The hegemony hasn't faced meaningful resistance in generations. Their technology advanced, but their tactics stagnated. They fight by protocol, not intuition. The implications ripple through the command center. Lieutenant Commander Diaz, the ship's tactical officer, immediately begins mapping predictive patterns based on the new information. "There's more," Patel adds. "Their neural structures make rapid decision-making physically uncomfortable. Their command hierarchy requires consensus among 5 sub-commanders before altering any pre-approved battle plan." Ryan exchanges glances with his executive officer. "While we can change tactics mid-battle based on a gut feeling." "Precisely," Patel confirms, "and they're absolutely terrified of us because of it. Their psychological profiles show they can't comprehend our willingness to take calculated risks." The ship shudders as nearby debris collides with their hull. Ryan barely notices, his mind racing with possibilities. "Send this data to Admiral Chen immediately, and get me everything you can on their remaining fleet configurations." As the transmission ends, Ryan turns to his bridge crew. "We're changing our approach. Inform all squadron leaders to prepare for Operation Wildcard." "Commander," Ishida raises an eyebrow. "Sir, Wildcard isn't scheduled for deployment for another week." "The beauty of being human, Commander," Ryan replies, already inputting new coordinates into the navigation system, "is that we can change the plan when opportunity knocks." Across the Jupiter theater, human vessels begin executing seemingly random maneuvers, breaking formations, going silent, accelerating directly towards superior hegemony forces before veering away at the last moment. To the aliens, the behavior appears chaotic, perhaps even desperate. They don't realize until too late that there is method in the madness, a carefully orchestrated dance of distraction, while Earth's true offensive takes shape in the shadows of Saturn's rings. The Hegemony Council chamber falls into deeper silence as Chief Researcher Val Noor activates the next set of holographic projections. The images show human children on playgrounds, engaged in activities that make several council members visibly uncomfortable. "These are not training facilities," Val Noor explains, her translator struggling to convey the nuance. "These are recreational areas where young humans voluntarily climb to dangerous heights, engage in competitive physical contact, and simulate conflict scenarios without supervision." Supreme Overlord Zexatari shifts uneasily. "They train their young for warfare through play?" "That's the remarkable aspect," Val Noor continues, bringing up side-by-side comparisons of human brain scans. Their neural pathways form connections between pleasure centers and risk assessment. Where our species evolved to equate safety with satisfaction, humans derive enjoyment from controlled danger. The projections shift to historical footage from Earth's past conflicts. Soldiers charging across battlefields despite overwhelming odds. Medics running into gunfire to retrieve wounded comrades. Civilians forming resistance movements in occupied territories. Most concerning is their concept of heroism, the researcher adds. Humans have created a social reward system that encourages individuals to sacrifice themselves for group survival. Our psychological models cannot predict the behavior of a species that values the collective over individual survival to this degree. Council member Trelvox, representing the militaristic Krek species, pounds a clawed appendage on the table. This explains the anomalies in our combat reports. They're allowing smaller vessels to be destroyed to create openings for their attack craft. Precisely, Valnor confirms. And there's more. Intercepted communications reveal something humans call gallows humor. They make jokes in the face of death. Our neurological structure makes this impossible for us to comprehend fully. The Council watches footage from a captured human vessel. Despite severe damage to their ship, the crew exchanges quips about their situation while efficiently making repairs. One wounded human applies medical treatment to herself while suggesting they should have taken that vacation to Mars instead. How can they function this way? Demands Council member Zethlon. Our troops experience decision paralysis under far less stress. Valnor manipulates the display to show human evolutionary history. Their planet tried to kill them countless ways. Predators, diseases, natural disasters, climate shifts. Instead of evolving toward specialization like our species, they became generalists with redundant biological systems. They call it adaptability. We have no equivalent concept. The final projection shows data from human entertainment channels. Thousands of simulated conflict scenarios playing across Earth daily. They rehearse warfare constantly through their games and movies, Valnor concludes. While our civilization spent millennia perfecting stable social structures, they've spent their entire history preparing for this moment without realizing it. They don't fear conflict. They've been collectively imagining it for generations. Supreme, Overlord Zextari stares at the projections, his compound eyes reflecting the images of human resilience. Can they be controlled through fear at all? That's the most troubling conclusion, Valnor replies softly. Our initial attack did generate fear, but it didn't produce submission. Instead, it unified them. They have a documented history of setting aside internal conflicts when facing external threats. We didn't frighten them into surrender. We frightened them into cooperation. Professor Amara Okafor studies the holographic projections of competing hegemony faction communications in her underground command center. The room, originally designed as a linguistics research facility at Oxford University, now serves as Earth's primary xenopolitical intelligence hub. Notice the subtle shifts in harmonic frequencies when the Volturi address the Kreks, she explains to the assembled intelligence chiefs. Their translator algorithms deliberately emphasize certain syllables to trigger ancestral threat responses. General Wei leans forward, his weathered face illuminated by the dancing lights of alien language patterns. And you found a way to exploit this? Okafor nods, manipulating the hologram to highlight specific communication segments. The hegemony presents itself as a unified front, but it's actually a carefully balanced power structure. The 7 species have been rivals longer than they've been allies. She brings up historical records extracted from captured hegemony databases. The images show ancient conflicts between the member species, spanning thousands of years before their unification. Their coalition was formed out of necessity, not mutual respect, Okafor continues. The Volturi and Kreks fought 3 interstellar wars before the hegemony formation. The Zentari subjugated the Pelian homeworlds for centuries. These wounds haven't healed, they've just been bandaged with bureaucracy. Director Santiago of Earth Intelligence Service slides a data tablet across the table. Professor Okafor's team has crafted what we're calling resonant dissonance messages. Each transmission contains subtle linguistic triggers designed to reawaken these ancient conflicts. On the main screen, a simulation shows hegemony communication networks lighting up with manipulated human diplomatic messages, each carefully crafted to mean something slightly different to each alien faction. To the Volturi representatives, our peacetime proposal emphasizes territorial autonomy, Okafor explains. The same message processed through Krek's translation algorithms suggests we're offering preferential trading rights that exclude their rivals. Neither is explicitly stated, but their cultural filters will fill in the blanks with their own biases. Admiral Chen, joining via secure connection from the front lines, appears impressed. Psychological warfare on a species level. How quickly can we implement this? We already have, Director Santiago replies with the hint of a smile. For the past 72 hours, every official human communication has contained these embedded triggers. Our surveillance shows the Hegemony Council has extended their emergency session due to internal disagreements. The room falls silent as a priority alert flashes across the strategic display. Okafor gestures to her assistant, who brings up a newly intercepted transmission. This just arrived through our diplomatic channels, the assistant explains. The Zentari faction is requesting a private communication channel with Earth leadership, bypassing the hegemony protocols. General Wei raises an eyebrow. Exactly as you predicted, Professor. Okafor nods, but her expression remains serious. This is just the beginning. Our message to the Zentari contains subtle indications that we've also been approached by the Volturi. When the Zentari discover this, which they will, as will ensure a controlled leak, they'll accelerate their own outreach to secure terms before their rivals. Admiral Chen's holographic form crosses her arms. We're turning their divide and conquer strategy against them. With one critical difference, Okafor replies, bringing up Earth's unified response strategy on the display. Unlike us, they never expected to be divided. We've spent our entire history managing internal conflicts while presenting unified fronts to external threats. It's the most human skill of all, turning our greatest weakness into our greatest strength. Dr. Marcus Hernandez moves through the underground laboratory complex, the air humming with the energy of breakthrough innovation. Around him, engineers and scientists huddle over workstations where dismantled alien technology merges with human ingenuity. The facility, nicknamed Prometheus Base by its occupants, operates 24 hours a day in rotating shifts. Dr. Hernandez calls Zoe Chen, the teenage intern whose unconventional approach had first cracked the hegemony quantum communication system. The integration tests on the hybrid propulsion system are complete. Hernandez follows her to a sealed test chamber where a prototype engine hovers in a containment field. What makes the device remarkable isn't just its advanced technology, but the elegant simplicity of its design, hegemony engineering principles refined and streamlined by human intuition. We've increased efficiency by another 12%, Zoe explains, bringing up the test results on a nearby screen. The aliens use redundant safety systems that actually create inefficiencies. We've eliminated those bottlenecks. Hernandez examines the data with a critical eye. Any compromise to operational safety? That's the beautiful part, Zoe replies, excitement visible despite her exhaustion. Human spacecraft already account for catastrophic failure scenarios the hegemony never considers. Their engineering philosophy assumes perfect operation. Ours assumes everything will eventually break. From across the lab, Dr. Lakshmi Patel calls out, "Marcus, the weapons team has something." They join the weapons division where a team led by former video game designer James Rodriguez demonstrates the latest improvement to Earth's defensive capabilities. On a holographic display, simulated hegemony targeting systems lock onto Earth vessels, only to lose their locks repeatedly. We've reverse-engineered their targeting algorithms, Rodriguez explains, and discovered they rely on predictive movement patterns based on efficiency calculations. They literally cannot comprehend why a ship would make wasteful maneuvers. So, we made our ships move inefficiently on purpose, adds his colleague, Dr. Sarah Williams. The evasive patterns appear random to their systems, but are actually based on human reaction time variables, something their species never evolved to process. Hernandez watches the simulation with growing satisfaction, as hegemony weapons consistently miss human vessels executing these seemingly erratic maneuvers. Implementation timeline. We're uploading the patterns to the fleet now, Williams confirms. Admiral Chen authorized immediate deployment given the intelligence reports about their planned counteroffensive. A priority alert flashes across the lab's main display. Director Kendrick from Strategic Command appears on screen. Dr. Hernandez, we've intercepted communications from the hegemony homeworld. Their science directorate is demanding immediate resources to develop countermeasures against our technological adaptations. Hernandez allows himself a rare smile. How long are they estimating to achieve parity? That's why I'm calling, Kendrick replies, his expression a mixture of disbelief and satisfaction. Their most optimistic projection is 8 years. The lab falls silent as the implications sink in. Zoe breaks the quiet, her voice carrying the characteristic optimism of youth. By then, we'll be another 8 generations of innovation ahead. Hernandez nods, looking around at the determined faces of his team. Scientists who had previously worked on commercial products, medical applications, and entertainment technologies, now applying their diverse expertise to humanity's defense. The hegemony evolved in an environment of abundance, he observes. They developed technology through methodical, incremental improvements over centuries. Humanity evolved under constant pressure, developing technology to solve immediate survival problems. He gestures to the hybrid propulsion prototype. They perfect what they know. We constantly seek what we don't know. That's why they'll always be playing catch-up. Admiral Chen observes the real-time battle data streaming in from the Proxima Centauri operation. Earth vessels execute impossible maneuvers through regions of space the hegemony considers too dangerous to navigate. Commander Elena Rodriguez leads the assault from the flagship Dauntless, her tactics confounding the alien defenders. The shipyard's primary defense grid is neutralized, reports Lieutenant Commander Kwan, tactical officer of the Dauntless. Minimal casualties on our side. Rodriguez nods, her focus unwavering. Commence Phase 2. Precision strikes on propulsion inhibitors. And command nodes only. I want that facility intact. The human fleet moves with coordinated precision that belies their cobbled-together appearance. Vessels that began life as cargo haulers and orbital tugs now dance through space with deadly grace, their retrofitted weapons systems targeting only specific systems of the massive alien shipyard. Back on Earth, Admiral Chen addresses the Unified Defense Council. The Proxima operation is proceeding ahead of schedule. The hegemony never anticipated we could reach their territory, let alone execute a coordinated strike. General Okonkwo raises the question on everyone's mind. What is their response so far? Chen brings up a tactical display showing hegemony fleet movements throughout nearby systems. Panic. They're recalling vessels from 17 sectors to form a defensive perimeter around their primary worlds. It's exactly what we wanted. Defense Minister Sharma studies the display. They're leaving their resource extraction operations exposed. More importantly, Chen adds, they're revealing their command structure priorities. Each recall order contains embedded routing information, showing us exactly how their communication network functions. The display shifts to show multiple human strike teams already moving toward newly identified targets. Communication relays, supply depots, and outlying hegemony outposts suddenly vulnerable as the aliens concentrate their forces. The hegemony evolved as apex predators, Chen explains. Their strategic doctrine assumes superiority and focuses on efficient resource allocation. They've never had to defend multiple fronts simultaneously against an inferior opponent. At Proxima Centauri, Commander Rodriguez walks through the captured shipyard, engineering teams already working to understand and adapt the alien construction techniques. The facility spans 16 kilometers of space, its manufacturing capabilities representing technology centuries beyond Earth's previous capabilities. Have we secured the design database? Rodriguez asks her executive officer. Yes, Commander. Dr. Hernandez's team is already receiving the encrypted data packets. They estimate complete reverse engineering of their latest vessel designs within 72 hours. Rodriguez pauses at a viewport overlooking the shipyard's main assembly area, where half-completed hegemony warships hang suspended in construction cradles. Begin retrofitting these vessels immediately. I want them recommissioned under Earth colors within 2 weeks. Her communications officer approaches with urgency. Commander, we've intercepted distress calls from nearby hegemony worlds. They're requesting immediate reinforcements against our attack. Our attack? Rodriguez questions. We haven't launched operations against civilian targets. No, sir, the officer clarifies, but the hegemony doesn't know that. They're receiving reports of human vessels striking 3 nearby systems simultaneously. Understanding dawns on Rodriguez. The Krex faction is using our offensive as cover to settle old scores, making it look like our doing. She opens a secure channel to Admiral Chen. The Earth Doctrine is already working. We've barely begun our campaign, and the Hegemony Coalition is fracturing from within. Their subject species smell weakness and are turning on their masters while blaming us for the chaos. Chen's response comes through after a brief delay. Perfect. Let the galaxy witness what happens when an empire built on fear begins to crumble. General Maya Winters monitors the infiltration operation from her command vessel, positioned at the edge of the Hegemony home system. The Special Forces teams, led by Colonel Damian Reyes, move through the capital city with practiced precision. Years of training in Earth's most challenging environments, from Antarctic research stations to deep-sea habitats, had prepared them for operating in alien conditions. Team Sigma has secured the primary power distribution hub, reports Lieutenant Kim, her voice calm despite the magnitude of their mission. Fail-safe protocols in place. We can shut down planetary defenses without affecting civilian infrastructure. Winters acknowledges with a nod. The plan hinges on this distinction, demonstrating Earth's capacity for overwhelming force while simultaneously showing restraint. Unlike the Hegemony, who viewed civilian casualties as an acceptable cost of conquest, humanity would prove itself different. Team Delta reporting, comes another voice. Security forces neutralized near the council chambers. Minimal resistance. They never expected a ground assault. On tactical displays, human teams methodically secure strategic points throughout the Hegemony capital. The aliens had prepared for apocalyptic space battles and orbital bombardment, their historical method of subjugating worlds. The concept of small infiltration teams bypassing their defenses entirely represented a failure of imagination on their part. Colonel Reyes, status report, Winters requests, watching his team's approach to the Hegemony Council building. Final checkpoint cleared, General, Reyes responds, his breathing steady despite the exertion. Council security detected our approach, but their response protocols are designed for conventional forces, not special operators. We've inserted countermeasures into their automated defense grid. Their own systems now identify us as maintenance personnel. Winters allows herself a moment of satisfaction. Proceed to primary objective. Remember, this is about sending a message. No unnecessary force. As Reyes's team secures the final approach to the council chambers, Dr. Eliza Kaminsky, from Xenolinguistics Division, provides real-time cultural context. Their society places extreme importance on hierarchical displays. The council members will interpret your body language and positioning as much as your words. Inside the ornate chamber, Hegemony leaders watch in disbelief as human operators systematically disable their personal security devices. Supreme Overlord Zextari, flanked by representatives from all 7 species of the Coalition, rises from his ceremonial position at the center of the council table. Impossible, he chitlers, translator rendering his alarm into a flat monotone. Our defenses are impenetrable. Colonel Reyes removes his tactical helmet, a deliberate show of confidence. Your defenses were designed to stop threats you understood. That was your first mistake. General Winters arrives minutes later, walking unhurriedly into the chamber that has governed hundreds of worlds for millennia. She carries no visible weapons, the ultimate statement of power in this context. Your empire has existed for 12,000 years. She addresses the council, her voice echoing in the cavernous space. Humanity has been spacefaring for less than 2 centuries, yet here we stand, in your seat of power, having bypassed your most sophisticated defenses. She activates the data tablet, showing the simultaneous takeover of critical infrastructure across the planet. We could have reduced this world to ash from orbit. We chose precision instead. Zextari's compound eyes reflect the shifting images on the screen. What do you want from us? Winter's expression remains impassive. The same thing you should have offered from the beginning. Respect. Your empire is built on intimidation. Ours will be built on something stronger. Ambassador Thomas Okonkwo, moves through the gathered delegations with practiced diplomatic grace. The Orbital Diplomatic Center represents humanity's vision for the future, a structure combining architectural elements from all participating species, orbiting Earth as a symbol of neutral territory. Representatives from 93 worlds watch as human children perform alongside young members of formerly subjugated species in a cultural exchange program. The performance demonstrates more than simple cooperation, Okonkwo explains to the Zentari delegation. It shows biological adaptability. 6 months ago, these species had never met. Now they create art together despite fundamentally different sensory systems. Senior diplomat Krelvor of the Zentari inclines his elongated head. We have observed that humans form attachments to other species with remarkable speed. Even during your brief occupation of our outposts, your soldiers established rudimentary communication with our young. It's in our nature, Okonkwo replies. Throughout our history, we've domesticated other species, learned their communication patterns, and formed emotional bonds across biological barriers. What served us on Earth now serves us among the stars. Across the chamber, Dr. Sanjay Patel demonstrates Earth's technological sharing initiative, a database of medical and agricultural advancements being freely distributed to former hegemony subject worlds. Scientists from 17 species cluster around holographic displays, showing technologies that the hegemony had deliberately withheld to maintain control. The Galactic Concord isn't just a political alliance, Patel explains to the gathered representatives. It's a recognition that advancement comes through cooperation, not subjugation. These irrigation systems will increase crop yields on drought-prone worlds by 60%. A representative from Proxima B, whose people had endured centuries of resource extraction under hegemony rule, examines the plans with wonder. You offer this without demand for resources in return? We understand sustainable relationships, Patel responds. Your prosperity ultimately contributes to ours. The hegemony never grasped that simple truth. In the central chamber, the formal signing ceremony begins. Okonkwo stands at the podium as representatives approach one by one to affix their marks to the conquered charter. When the hegemony representatives approach, now reduced to observer status, murmurs ripple through the assembly. Supreme Overlord Zextari, once ruler of hundreds of worlds, now speaks for a greatly diminished coalition. We request clarification on Article 7 regarding military limitations. Okonkwo's expression remains neutral, but his voice carries throughout the chamber. Article 7 applies equally to all signatories, including Earth. No member world may maintain forces beyond defensive requirements. The difference is that we trust verification, not promises. The implied meaning is clear to everyone present. Earth's monitoring networks now span former hegemony space, ensuring compliance with the new reality. As the ceremony concludes, General Maya Winters joins Okonkwo near the observation window overlooking Earth. Below them, the blue-green planet continues its eternal rotation, seemingly unchanged despite its newfound galactic importance. Was it worth it? Winters asks quietly. The resources we've committed to rebuilding worlds we never knew existed a few years ago. Okonkwo watches as diplomatic teams disperse. Species that were mortal enemies under hegemony rule now engaged in animated discussion. Look at them, Maya. For millennia, the galaxy knew only conquest and submission. We've introduced something new. What's that? She asks. Choice, he replies simply. The choice to cooperate rather than dominate. The most human concept of all. Outside the diplomatic center, Earth vessels patrol alongside ships from former hegemony worlds, their crews learning from each other. Across the galaxy, the message spreads. Earth defends not just itself, but a new way of existing among the stars.